At 12:30 a.m., a Singaporean cargo ship, the Dolly, departs the Seagirt Marine Terminal in Baltimore. At 1:26 a.m., the Dolly loses power, but as it returns, they turn right into the Baltimore Bridge's support beam, accelerates, then loses power again, and blows directly into the beam, causing it to collapse in a mass casualty incident.
Yo! What the?
Now, Stream Time Live shows us the path the Dolly took, which is puzzling as to why, even in a power failure, would the ship turn at just the last moment directly into the support beam. As the internet is now calling this incident a perfect strike, with the rescue crew showing us the massive destruction during their early morning search missions, and the aftermath in the morning displays the bridge has fully collapsed into the sea. As this will now impact practically all shipping in the Maryland area for years, the feds are now investigating.
The FBI, on very first, looking at and assessing this matter from an investigative standpoint, I want to be clear that there is no specific or credible information to suggest that there are ties to terrorism in this incident.
So obviously rumors of a cyber attack are trending, citing the lights cutting out the exact moment it turned towards the support beams, calling it a Black Swan event, with other random accounts claiming the Danish-chartered Singaporean ship manned by an all-Indian crew was in fact captained by a Ukrainian, to which they're celebrating, as when you watch the footage sped up, it doesn't look like an accident. Where social media users are pointing out the explosions that occurred as the bridge went down.
Let's not get distracted by this here. Let's keep these videos going.
Now obviously you know me as somewhat of a connoisseur of tinfoil hat theories, and these have ranged from somewhat probable to entirely fabricated in my opinion, as cyber attacks have been happening specifically on our supply chain, so this would be nothing new or unexpected, but I just don't think it's fair to manipulate a video and claim that's evidence of foul play, the same way you can accidentally get into a fender bender, but if you play that video at 8x the speed, it's gonna look intentional. And also the idea that a country that we almost entirely finance would stage an attack against us, all but ensuring their demise, makes almost zero sense as well. And as for the explosions detonating at the time of the collapse, I'm no expert, but it appears there's electrical lines powering the lights all throughout the bridge. So as it collapses, obviously the lines are going to spark as it gets torn apart, and if they were going to send a ship through the support beam, why would they need to detonate the cables? Or if they were going to pop the cables, wouldn't sending the ship be redundant? I don't know, I just don't personally subscribe to that theory. Because the biggest conspiracy theory of them all comes from our own president.
At about 1:30, a container ship struck the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which I've been over many times commuting from the state of Delaware in our train or by car.
The idea that Biden rode a train through a bridge that has no train tracks all but confirms an alternate universe. That, or his brain simply doesn't work anymore. But at this point in time, having two separate realities diverge into one universe is about as probable as 81 million Americans thinking he was going to fix the country. Because even as meme accounts are pointing out, bridge collapse and Puff Daddy may be trending, but World War III is probably our bigger concern. And how vulnerable would we be to an actual attack? As Andrew Elswick points out, why this bridge had no fenders, compared to other bridges that see similar ship traffic, having these barriers that protect them from the event of direct ship collisions. Especially when our bridges have been hit before, they install these dolphins to prevent that from happening again, to which the Baltimore Bridge had them, but only around the surrounding power lines, not the actual bridge people are driving across. But what was our Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, been focusing on?
If an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or it would have been, in New York was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices. I don't think we have anything to lose by confronting that simple reality, and I think we have everything to gain by acknowledging it and then dealing with it, which is why the Reconnecting Communities, that $1 billion, is something we want to get to work right away.
Thanks, America. I'm so glad you continuously pass trillion-dollar spending bills to send $14 million for Egyptian college tuitions, $500,000 on a diversity, equity, and inclusion zoo, and $850,000 for a gay senior home. It's not like our airplanes are disintegrating in the skies, our trains are derailing and sending toxic chemicals into our rivers, and now boats are sinking our bridges and blocking our supply chain. I'm really glad to know our top politicians are busy identifying the racism of bridges, not fixing them, but identifying that our forefathers didn't build bridges to, cross. They built them specifically to block underprivileged youth from poor communities from getting to our beaches. So I don't necessarily blame this bridge collapse on a cyber attack as much as I think it's just the product of our own prolonged ineptitude. As if a foreign adversary really wanted to defeat us, why would they directly do it and risk a counterattack when they could just sit back and watch us do it to ourselves? So if you appreciate my concise, light-order commentary on the tragic status of today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how vigilantes are finally taking over American cities.